I think we're live. Gonna give it 1 second for the lag because it's YouTube. What up, homeboys? We're on the 10th episode of the Unofficial WoW podcast. We're joined today by Ho Gaming, up and coming YouTuber. Came out pretty early in Season of Discovery and he's been blowing up lately. And I think his videos are hilarious. So, how are you doing, Kagho? Kagho?
I'm doing, yeah, Tagho, I guess is how you would
Where's
say it,
that
but
name
I've been
come
doing
from?
really well, man. So when I was 12 and getting into WoW for the first time, my gamer name had always just been my real name, and I was like, I just need a gamer name. And so I just kept hitting randomize on an orc name and a blood elf name and just combined them and got Tagho.
Oh, that's like
And then I
Cargos'
saw it and I
story.
was like, yeah, I saw it and I was like, that looks awesome. We're gonna go with it, lock it in and stick with it.
That's funny. I
And
just doxed
now
myself.
15 years later, I'm still rocking it. So we just added gaming to the end for a channel.
Now it's a brand. Now it's a household name.
Yeah, yeah. Now we're getting there. Yeah,
Goes to
maybe
show
one
him.
day.
Oh, I think you're already doing pretty good on that department. Like, I see you everywhere lately, man. Like, I tell you, especially
Ah,
Phase 4, like, your fire resistance videos, they are so freaking chill. Like, your explanations on the raids. You're way ahead of me so far in Molten Core, I tell you what.
Phase 4 has been crazy. Like Phase 3, we had that giant lull in
Oh,
content, and then they delayed it and almost murdered the entire SoD project. So, that's when I actually turned to personal fitness during Phase 3, and I lost 50 pounds, which was awesome.
wow.
Got health focused. But since Phase 4 came out, I've just been nonstop grinding. I have two characters max level. I'm trying my best to cover every single piece of content that I can do and just crank out the guides to help people. But there is a lot.
Oh yeah, like that's what I like about this phase a lot more than phase 3. Like, for apart from the fact that I hated Sunken Temple, like why did they double the trash in Sunken Temple for the love of Christ? But the whole staggering the content, at least from like a content creation perspective, like the launching world bosses 1 week, launching then the bosses the Molten Core the next week, and so on and so forth. It gives so much more staying power. It doesn't feel like we've been in phase 4 for a month. It's been a month, man. Well, tomorrow is gonna be a
That's
month.
crazy. Yeah, that's actually nuts. Where did the time go? I straight up have been playing 8 hours a day, at least 8 to 16 hours, just nonstop grinding. I finally have hit that point where I could chill a little bit. Um, but yeah, I've just been cranking out the guides, really trying my best to it's sort of just the stuff I'm doing, right? Like I announced my guilds, we're gonna be gearing up and trying to go to Molten 3 and Heat 3 since we had such success with Heat 2 this past week. So those FR guys, they come from me struggling to go do it myself and figure out what I can do. It's like, oh yeah, sure, I have thousands of gold. Do I pay 200 gold for an FR enchant? This doesn't seem right. Let's go see how to get this.
Same. Like I had like a similar discussion with my guild where they were like, "Oh, I don't think we're gonna go hit 3. It's too hard." And I just like did like, I was like so upset that I just made a video like showing them, bro. I did it for free. It's just like dungeon loot. It's not that hard. Like the leather set for fire resist is like nothing. Was it like 100 gold total for the whole thing?
Yeah, yeah, it's cheap to get that stuff made for sure. It's not BIS, you're sacrificing all those
Yeah.
DPS stats for FR when you could just get Devil Core. Like you get your Devil Core legs and gloves and you get the enchant on the legs and you can just go straight into Heat 2. It's insane.
Yeah, I mean, like hit two, if you get the two enchants, you're almost there. Well, three because of the cloak. But that was actually like a question I had for you. Do you think the balancing of hit three makes any sense? Like I saw, for example, no hit Jerome was kind of not a fan of it. Like their approach of instead of making the raid a lot harder, what they did was making the classes weaker because everybody's hitting like wet noodles right now. How do you feel about that?
So this was a little controversial. I do like the FR idea because if you played original classic or era realms, they had so many FR pieces, and really only the rag tanks needed to get FR. You didn't really need FR if you were anyone else. So I think it was a double win in the sense that it made a lot of people have to go out and get these enchants. It made a lot of people have to go out and get FR gear. It made a lot of people have to go out and do so many things that they normally wouldn't do. Like people are still a month later farming FR gear, farming our FR reputation. It gives you so much to do in the end game just for one raid. And Molten Core usually like only lasts a month and then you're right into BWL, something like that. And it's just a lot of possibility with it. And I haven't really done Heat 3 yet, but the 226 set, it's based a lot around doing Heat 2 first and getting your tier 1. If you have your tier 1, it's really easy to hit that. You just swap like two pieces, you rock your 6 set, you have your enchants, and you can be there. So I really like it in the sense it is like you're progressing upward to the goal of Heat 3. It's not designed to just go in there week 1, and obviously you're gonna hit like a wet noodle because you're using pure FR pieces to
Greens.
hit their 226 number. Yeah. So like that makes sense to me a lot.
Yeah, personally, like my one caveat on it, the one thing that I do not like about the fire resistance mechanic, which I agree, it gave the phase a lot more staying power. It made it interesting to start farming again. Like this is different. We never really. I mean, I am a tank, so we did do that, but everybody else never really did do this before. So that did mix it up a lot for the previous grind, which, in my opinion, the previous grind level 60 is like the best part of vanilla. But one my
Oh,
neg-
absolutely.
yeah, my one caveat with it is that I think Tier 1 doesn't have enough fire res. I think they should have cranked that thing out a little more, like 20 more fire res at least. Like, my view of it was that, well, yeah, you're gonna hit like a wet noodle now, but then you're gonna get your Tier 1 and you're gonna be like almost ready to go, you know? I think 64 fire res is not enough.
For Heat 2, to have the 60 that you need, you're saying?
No, I mean like 64 fire res is the total that you get from your entire Tier 1 set. Or
Oh, yeah,
61.
yeah, yeah.
I don't remember.
Yeah. It's enough if you get the like hard new Thorium Brotherhood like FR pieces for sure. But yeah, I definitely get what you're saying with that. They could have made it more. I see no reason not to make it more. But I don't know. With the FR set I actually built today with my earlier video on my mage, like I was able to hit the 226 mark like exactly. So that tells me that they kind of thought out, were like, hey guys, these are like the best pieces to put on for these reasons, and building upon like the FR leg enchant, the FR head enchant, the Argent Dawn revered, and if you're, a little bit of a maniac, exalted with them already for your 15 shoulders. Like there's just a lot that I feel like I want to say like the devs were aware of this when they made these decisions.
I
And so
hope
it
so.
felt good to hit it. Yeah, it felt good to hit 226 like on the dot. Be like, I need to get this. I'm not sacrificing too much. I'm using these pieces that were made to do this function.
Yeah, I am still upset that my set ran out because I still have some tier 1 pieces and stuff. I am at 229 fire res and buffed, so I am like 1 point from the cap when I get my totem to tank Ragnaros. I'm still upset about it. Like the other day, I had like a 1% chance of not getting knocked up because I was like 5 res away from the cap or something like that. It happened twice in a row. I wanted to break my fucking computer down. It was, oh my god.
Yeah, at least you're a tank, so you probably have some way to charge back down.
Oh yeah, thank god.
That's what I love about I play mage and feral tank, so like I can just blink right back down, or I can charge right back onto them. So it just works out for me really well. I'm like, oh, I got knocked. This sucks, but we can still go.
Yeah. You can just like Berserker stance on it and just intercept or feral charge or whatever. It's kind of tricky though because you gotta get outside of the minimum range and Ragnaros has such a big freaking hitbox. But I mean, I guess it gives you more time to react. I don't know. You're gonna lose aggro for like one swing though if you get knocked up, even if you charge back, and that sucks. Like sometimes people die and I
Yeah,
feel so bad, especially if it's the enhancement shaman because if he dies, there's a good chance other people are gonna die.
yep, for sure. I feel
And
that.
he got sulfur as
I
main, so if I lose aggro, it's going straight to him.
Yeah, on Druid, I just spam it now. Like the moment it's available, I'm just charging, so I'm just spamming that keybind. And the second I go airborne, I'm like, we'll get it as soon as we're ready, hopefully.
How do you feel about the druid tanking experience so far?
I love it. I think it feels very TBC-ish. Like that's where I did most of my druid tanking, and I just feel like I'm a TBC tank. We have all the tools. We have Berserk. We have it hits multiple things with Mangle. Like it just we get Lacerate as well. The only thing I wish they would do is just give us Wild Strikes as a class thing. Like
Yeah,
just they get it when they're in Cat and Bear.
the
Make that thing
crits
100
suck.
yards. Yeah, because like having survive to pick between being a better tank with survival of the fittest and having to give your group wild strikes because that's like the big thing for using a feral tank over that is that you bring wild strikes to the group so the shaman can put down the agi totem. And it just feels really bad to have to choose between that, especially when you see them do something with Hunter where Heart of the Lion becomes integrated into their class, has a massive range. Like, just do that for Druid, especially since they can have Survival of the Fittest on their chest if they're feral.
Yeah, I mean, like the Feral Druid came out like I think it was one of the most awkward, aside from the Rogue Tank, which I still think they got no idea what the heck they are gonna do with that thing. But like not giving us Lacerate and Mangle at the same time for two phases, that's what made me quit a Druid in Nomeregan. Aside from like the bleeding damage thing, like it says on the tooltip, increases bleeding damage. You only got one bleeding ability and it's Lacerate. What kind of idiot doesn't like just read the tooltip of your stuff? They were supposed to work together the whole time. It took him like three phases of like whining in the forums, bro.
Yeah, yeah, I didn't go tank until like into phase 3, going into phase 4 because of that. I was just a cat bot for my guild, just leader of the pack because it was easy. You could either power shift or you could just be a leader of the pack bot. Everyone wants the leader of the pack bot, so you just get whatever you want. You just get to chill in there, don't have to sweat too hard.
That was basically me in phase 3. Nobody complained. My DPS was like, I didn't even show up in the meters. Nobody complained. Nobody noticed I was there, bro. They're like, do I have
Yeah.
Wind Fury?
Yeah,
Cool.
like yeah, Wind Fury and 3% crit. That's all I need. Let me crank.
That I love support classes. I hope you see how they are going to like a process of like giving every class a little bit of every other class so they are like more equal. I really hope they leave in like a couple like hard utility classes that work without damage. Like I think if they made like the Shadow Priest do a bunch of damage, it would lose the appeal for a lot of people. Like the at least in TVC for me, like the Shadow Priest was always like something I would play to chill, you know? Something like no pressure on me whatsoever. Or Shaman, Resto Shaman. I really hope they don't get rid of that.
Yeah, it's always hard to a lot of people in the forums really are like, we want Shadow Priest to crank, but then it
Yeah.
loses its like historic support status too. So it's like if they're cranking and supporting, then they're just insanely OP. I
Besides, if they crank,
actually
that means more mana. It's 2% of their damage. So that's also
Yeah,
gonna be
more
busted.
mana if they're cranking. Their healing is outrageous. They're in Molten
Ridiculous.
Core, we have I have three in my two raid teams. One group has two of them, so the casters get a Shadow Priest and the healers get them. And those Shadow Priests are just straight up like they're sometimes beating the actual healers in healing done just from vampiric touch and cranking on some of the fights.
The
It's
ad phase in Ragnaros, they are like so valuable. They do so much, and people don't see it. Okay, like if you don't play a healer, you don't even see it. But they are so valuable for like keeping the melee sap. Especially like I don't know how it's in the alliance, but like for us in the horde, I see that AoE healing is not that great right now. So they lift a bunch of the slack out of the raid. And the threat is also like a problem. I guess that's also could be like a huge issue if they started cranking.
Yeah, Alliance have paladins. They're fine. Those things are
Yeah.
insanely broken right now.
Twice as
These
much as
Beacon of Light,
shamans.
and they're good.
And
Yeah,
shamans are like the
yeah.
best one we have. Like they heal for twice as much as what the best second best class can heal. And the alliance is like, oh yeah, but shaman tanks were broken the whole phase. Yeah, I was with you. I was complaining. I was asking for them to delete shamans of the game, and I play horde. Okay, I don't know why we have to live through this again. Neither of them should have been a thing.
every patch note video I do, everywhere I see, anytime I go out into the forums, it's just nerf shaman spam, and the Alliance hate them, and
I'm right there.
I just think it's hilarious. I'm like, well, you clearly haven't fought a paladin in the open world because you guys will just sit there, you'll bubble, land hands. I have to kill you 3 times just so I can do the same effect. I know shamans are a little nuttier, especially LE shamans in BRM, definitely way more obnoxious, but paladins are pretty annoying to fight in any 1v1 situation as well.
I mean, as long as we don't get resilience or something else to balance out PvP, and I think if they are not gonna do it, like PvP is gonna always be an afterthought for balance because in what world can you buff like damage by like what are we doing? Like we're doing like more than Nax Ramas level DPS now for some classes, and we are like wearing like freaking blues in tier one. Like it's never gonna be balanced. PvP is never gonna work like that.
Yeah, I'm not too much of a PvPer myself, but I'm on a PvP server. I do dabble in it. I used to dabble in it a ton, like back in Cataclysm originally, but now, like, I think SoD is best as just a pure chaos test server. Like, just
Yeah.
test everything for Classic Plus and make Classic Plus amazing from us being your guinea pigs, and while having fun doing it. At least I have a lot of fun doing it.
I know you took a look at the dev interviews as well. One thing that I think was a really good statement by Agren is when he said, as much as testing what works is very important, we also gotta test what doesn't work. I think they are listening. So, I will complain about
Absolutely.
stuff Agren does all the time. That's kind of my thing. But at the end of the day, I am so happy we got him and not like Eon or something. Oh god, this is so much better.
Yes, I think SoD is a massive success, especially if it's the precursor to Classic Plus. Like, anytime you get millions and millions of people to come play a game, right? Like, so many people tried SoD in phase one.
They are
They
clearly
might
doing
not have
something
stuck
right.
around. Yeah, exactly. And they didn't even have to say it was Classic Plus. They're saying it's Classic with some changes. It's Discovery. You're gonna get new stuff, but it's not as far as Classic Plus. And that's like, it gives people hope. It gives people the idea that we're moving towards something awesome. Sincerely think if they actually announce like Karazhan Crypts as a new raid or a new Scarlet raid after an axe, I think they'll actually like break the classic server. Like I think SoD will become the most popular version of WoW. There'll be that many people that want to try it and come back
Sí.
and go hard.
Absolutely. I mean, like, people still go for Classic Era. It's dying, by the way. I checked the population the other day. The whole Deviant Delight thing is got like half the population now from like 2 weeks ago. But, like, if
Well,
you're
yeah,
from
they
Blizzard's
hit
pers-
max level.
Yep, they hit max level. They did Molten Core once, and they were like, "Oh, it's still vanilla. Well, I'm gonna go home." That's what happens that's what used to happen in private servers all the time. It was like a huge meme. I don't know if you come from private servers. I came from private servers into WoW before Classic, but the whole meme was like you will clear Molten Core on week one, and it was like, oh, that's pretty cool. Time to wait for next fresh, guys.
Yeah, yeah. No, I was in college and just living up life and partying and stuff before Classic came out. Like literally I
Damn.
graduated, then Classic came out and COVID. Like it was just like graduated and bam, everything the world gets flipped upside down.
Perfect alignment right there, if I may say so myself.
Yeah, it worked out really well for me.
I got a
But,
similar situation, except I was still in college, and that's how I'm not an engineer now.
there you go. Hey, just tell people you are. They'll believe you.
Oh, yeah. At least we had a YouTube
Just
game going on. But yeah, like, I mean, like, if you look at, like, from Blizzard's perspective, if you look at the numbers that so at least in phase one, because what phase one told us is like, they told them Classic Plus is coming, and like so many people came in to be just willing to try it out. What was the peak? Like 500,000 raiders in a lockout or something insane like that? I think it was even more than that.
Yeah. Yeah, it peaked at about 528,000, I think. That's off of memory from all the comparing the by the numbers videos. But
That's more than a
yeah,
retail expansion. Way more.
yeah, that counts alts though. That's a big thing. Like you could go 1 to
Yeah.
25. For example, like some of those weeks I was 8 because my guild was nutty. I was trying to, love BFD a lot and just play every class really. I made them all for the rune videos. Now they all sit in Silithus and just print me Mooncloth and Cure Drugged Hide. But
Well, they are contributing to the cause and stuff. Do you think the whole
exactly.
approach of phase 3 and 4 of like making ults a lot harder to play, do you think it's worth it?
At the end of the day, I think it's even if like yes, phase one was very alt friendly, the XP buff is insane. Like if you want an alt, it is not too much of an investment. People are complaining about runes and stuff, but I feel like if you just give them those things, like they've made ample changes to make them easier. The only one that, or like, there's a few that I would change, like Dark Riders, because that one was like the phase two epic rune where you go out on a big journey and you kill all those. That could be account bound, something like that. Especially if we saw like the Oni neck be account bound as well. I'd like them to sort of make that happen. They fixed the reputation with Emerald Wardens. You don't have to focus that when you're before your max level and just be completely gated from your rune.
That was so
There's just
stupid. My friend of mine had that problem. He was leveling an ult, he got to level 54, and he couldn't get his rune. And it was like a super
yeah,
important
yeah.
rune. He couldn't skip it.
That was a big oversight by them. I mean, they did have the system for the gathering stuff in there, but people monopolized that and made it really big. But I made a few videos about it. I know Agron watches some of my videos at least, and it got changed, so that's good. And I do like that they're quick and they hear us, right? Like if they mess up, they learn from their mistakes and they're pretty quick with them. If you look at like classic and retail, even like some of these changes to the game that are just completely utterly game breaking, they take a few weeks to get changed and maybe even a month or two. And they're pretty quick with it at SoD.
Yeah, you know the whole meme of like they will only fix a bug in a raid if it happens on the Mythic Plus Championship. It's true
Yep,
though.
exactly.
Like
It's
that's
so
when
true. And then
retail
we
is
have
like
Agron
so
here.
worse managed.
Yeah, and we have Agrant here who watches creators' videos. He is on the forums. He has a public Twitter that anyone can DM him on. Like he's listening to us and he's like, "Yep, you know what? We messed up there. We're gonna fix it." And I think that is truly amazing. And I haven't seen a dev anywhere in any game be that open to fixing or changing their game. Especially because like most devs treat games sort of like their children's a kind of, especially if they build it from the ground up. They're like, no, I know best. I'm doing it the correct way. And it's just really awesome to see here in SoD.
That's the big one. Like he's always willing to own it because how many expansions like was Ion Hasicostas arguing for keeping Titan Forcing in the game? Like through Titan Nail, when like all the polls showed that like 90% of the player base hated it, and it was like absolutely obvious it wasn't working, and he just stuck by it for like 3 expansions.
Yeah,
That's
I
the
think he
number
was
one
in
thing.
from like WAD to like BFA. I think they're moved
Oh,
in
awful,
BFA.
awful.
Like just
It took him
10
like
years
killing the
almost.
game with that expansion to accept, well, maybe all the 90% of the players are right.
Yeah,
You know, it's like his personal
it's
kingdom. That I don't get that vibe from Agrend at all. I don't think he treats this as his personal playground.
Yeah, not at all. It's clear how much the devs care about WoW and SoD and the classic project and actually like they actually get in there and play the game. And you can tell they play the game just by some of the like weird changes they make. You're like, why would anyone care about this change? This change is so small and minute. Well, probably one of the devs was playing it, saw it happen, and was like, yeah, we're gonna fix that.
Yeah, I mean, like that was like one thing. You remember the carnage that was Black Rock Mountain the first week before they put like the debuff that you rest faster and stuff like that. And
I don't know. I don't know if there was any carnage there. I was
we,
for it on
yeah,
Crusader
yeah,
Strike.
yeah.
We
We play
we
Crusader Strike. We play Horde. That was the whole
yeah,
joke.
yeah.
And
It was our
like
mountain. I could just walk through there. I was completely fine.
it was PVE for me too. But like,
Yeah.
but I kept saying, guys, don't worry. Agren plays Alliance. He's gonna see it very soon. And a week later,
Yeah,
they
yeah.
changed it.
And that's stuff where like they learn from mistakes or from the past. I definitely think they should have had it in from the beginning. Like they did, even STV when it launched in phase two had those same exact problems. And it's like you have the fix there, like why not just put it in there from the beginning? Like you know the fix, you have the fix, you already did the fix earlier in Season of Discovery, put it in there. And but sometimes they learned within a week at least and got it in there, but a lot of pain and suffering for it.
I think the main problem is that they do not put it on the PTR. They don't want to put the new raids and events on the PTR, and to an extent, I get it. I guess it helps for hype and stuff like that. But like, there is not the same. Even if they want to test it, and I am pretty sure they did not test. They do not test a lot of stuff. But even if you get like 10 Blizzard employees to test it, it's not the same as having 100 freaking people in there. You know, if you don't put it on the
Yep.
PTR, it's the same as not testing it at all for some of these things. So I can totally see how they didn't see it coming.
They should let us test it
Yeah.
everything. Like one, it builds hype. Like it builds hype, and two, if any other game like classic players, they know how to break this game any like as hard as possible. Like any exploit, anything to get ahead, any like super min-maxy thing that they can do, they will do it. And devs can go at those games with like the best intentions, be like, "Oh, this is how I would play it. It won't be that bad." And then people have to take like 2 hours to go from the entering the mountain to get to BRD and stuff, and it's just like, yep, well, that's PvP horde for you.
Yeah, I remember him saying something like, "I think it's gonna take like 2 or 3 days for like the top guilds to clear hit level 3," and he was like, "They just stayed up for 8 hours and they did." I mean, it's really
Yeah,
hard to
I
see it
watched.
coming.
Yeah, for sure. I watched the. It was crazy what Noda did with the trinkets, and they found like some of the eruption mobs gave rep the entire time, so they sat there for 50 hours, farmed those mobs, and got exalted to drop all the trinkets. It is crazy.
Yeah, I mean, like, can you expect the poor men to expect people to farm Crusader orbs from like a single guy that is in Eastern Plaguelands? There is like a race of 300 people, and people were gonna spend 20,000 gold for a single Crusader enchant. Like, oh my god, what is happening
Let
with
them
these
cook.
people anymore?
Yeah, let them do it. Like,
Jeez.
I see nothing wrong with that, honestly. I think they should have kept it because it would give people something to do in phase three. Could you imagine the wars that would happen over that mob? Sure, Crusader's a little OP early, but I think realistically only like two people got it on our server and had it the entire time.
Honestly, as
And I
soon as
think,
they took it out of Warcraft logs, I was like, why do you care? You know, like you cannot cheese the parses with
yep,
it, so it's the
exactly.
same.
And then that happened. Like any amount of cheese that they do for as far as how people rank stuff, it just gets taken out. It gets excluded. Like people wanted to exclude the the Yetis from the Christmas event because people are using those in BFD for fun. Like it's just anything to get ahead. That's definitely how people play Classic now.
That was the best part about griefing people. You know, you'll pull out and everybody's parses will be gone. That happened so many times.
We were doing Heroic Lich King back about a year now ago when that launched it with my Wrath guild that I played with from Classic MC all the way through. And one dude literally cleared BFD the to like help a friend get something. I don't know why he cleared it, but he had the 10 frost power debuff, and even in Wrath he invalidated our logs like 4 years later, and people got so pissed at him for it.
Oh my god. We got a guy that got G kicked actually because of that. Because like in that case, that guy did it on purpose. He was like, "I gotta be done with the raid quick, guys. I don't care." You know, and he pulled it. And he was like, "I hate parses." And oh, people got so mad. I think I would have got a 99 that day too, so I was a little upset. That was like my best parsing phase out of them all. You know, that was like when Lacerate was super busted and you could just lacerate like the all the Nagas at the same time with the boss and it would count. I felt so
Yeah,
smart.
yeah. It's crazy how people break the game for parsing. Like it actually blows my mind just to see how far and how hard and then Warcraft logs and that constant battle against them. Like they're just always there trying to change it and they're like, "No, this isn't fine." Like you can pat on those fights because you're supposed to kill the ads, but here you can ignore them nowadays. So yeah, that doesn't count. That's invalidated damage. It's just hilarious to me to watch how hard they go and how much they sort of change that battle all the time.
You know, it's crazy how much power they wield in shaping the meta with their decisions. I got like a huge problem with it in Cataclysm because they made it so the damage on the ads doesn't count even though you're supposed to freaking kill the ads. So if you're in a pug, not in an organized raid, people are gonna literally wipe because they will not kill the ads. I was just raging the whole
Yeah.
time. And in some fights, it's like a lot of the fight killing the ads. It's not like a two global sting and they are gone. So I don't know. I don't agree with all of their decisions, but at least they are trying to stop the cheeses, and that's huge.
Yeah, I leveled a guy to 85 in Kata, but Kata's where I kind of started as a kid back originally. So like I've pretty much have come full circle now, and we played every expansion for a while. So like I was like, I don't really want to do Kata again. Most of my guild, like half of them went forward, half of them quit, and so it was like I've been raiding with these guys for 5 years, and now they're just sort of gone, and it's like, damn, like what do we do now? And then SoD came out, so I got my answer.
Yeah, so made so many people come back. I don't know, like compared with Season of Mastery, I don't think I know a single person that plays Season of Mastery. Honestly,
I made a character, but it was just too fresh for me. We were in the heat of TBC. I think they literally launched it like the week or
yeah.
second week into TBC raiding. Like people were doing Gruul and Mag and those raids, and it was just like this is like I don't want to go back to classic already. I'm having fun in TBC. I love TBC. It's actually probably my favorite expansion of all of
Same.
them. I love the grind. Everything like it had a great balance of like annoyance to like class balance. Like you don't have to do all the annoying things to be great at your class and like the buffs were there. Like every class sort of had an identity and it just felt really great and the raids actually provided some challenge. I wish we were in a good state of WoW where we could ask for TBC servers, but like doing that would be so bad. We already have six different versions of WoW, so adding a seventh at this time, I just do not think would be a good idea.
Honestly, that's what happened with EverQuest. I don't know if you ever checked out like the whole their version of classic EverQuest that they got, but they got like 16 versions of the game at once because those guys release an expansion every year and they've been out since like 1999, man. And I look at myself in the future and it's like, what is gonna happen after Classic, Cataclysm Classic and stuff? Like, are we gonna get Pandaria Classic? Are we gonna get something else like seasonal plus era? It's gonna be like a nightmare. We're fighting over like a smaller and smaller population over time in every server, even if the overall people are the same amount. It's gonna hurt.
Yeah. Yeah, my this is a little tinfoil hat theory here, but I this would be my perfect idea of the classic project is SoD and Cataclysm in early 2025, at least from their timelines that they're supposed to. War Within will be well out, and people will probably be getting bored of it and they have a historic potential to launch Classic Plus then, let Kata die, let Era die, if I mean it's pretty much already dead. Let
Yeah,
Era die, let all the other forms of Classic die. You can keep Hardcore because that's a super niche, small, different way to play the game. I see nothing wrong with that. Or even throw Hardcore as a mode in Classic Plus as well.
or just
And just have
merge
two
like the
WoWs.
servers.
Yep, just have two WoWs of Retail WoW and Classic Plus, and just let them go. And that brings all the people into one population. The timelines line up, and to replay MOP, they've already tested it with the retail system of the remixes. So, like MOP remix, they can do WAD remix, they can just do remixes of all those within the retail client, so people can go back and experience those expansions. I've said
He's
that a
such a
few
smart.
times in a few of my videos, but it just all lines up, and I think they are sitting on an untapped gold mine with Classic Plus. Like it is such a beautiful idea, and you don't have to do much. Like you could literally just release Classic WoW 1 to 60 fresh for the first 6 months, let people play through all that content, and then be like, here's the new stuff. Give them some things from SOM, give them some things from SoD, so it's newish to people, and you're good to go.
You just spice it up every 2 years and like it's sustainable like indefinitely, you know? Because like what are we gonna get? World of Draenor Classic in like 3 years? Is that what we're gonna be doing? I don't think it's gonna like this. Aside from that, like you know, at some point they are gonna catch up with retail anyway because the classic expansions are like a half as long. So we're not even that far away from that happening if we keep this pace. I
Yeah,
don't
and
know.
they're turboing Kata. Like they said, Kata is going to be all of
So
Kata, but it's
fast.
going to be in like a year. Like it's like, yeah, Kata took like 2.5 years originally, but now it's just going to take a year. Good luck. Which tells me they have a plan. Like there's a reason for expediting it more than any of the others. Because like Wrath took like a year and a half, TBC took a year and a half, and Kata, they're like, we're launching that thing full speed.
Yeah, I mean, I think they just found the money glitch with Season of Discovery and they want to double up on it. Like 500,000 and something raiders, yeah, like you're saying, there was a bunch of faults. It could be less, it could be more. But at the end of the day, if you look at that number, like from Blizzard's perspective, you want to do that thing every freaking year at that point. Like, that's as big as an
Yeah.
expansion. Like, just compare how much it costs to make like a single WoW expansion and just what it costed to make Season of Discovery. They got like 20 people on the team, man.
Yeah,
I think
like
they know.
give them the art team. Like, let the art team cook with them.
Oh
Like
yes.
they got that big Microsoft money now. Let them cook, please. I think they know, like they played the game, they know the storylines, like they know what to do. Private servers have literally done it for them. Like 20 years, we've had Classic. Like there are so many ideas and so many things that have been executed so well, and they're just out there that are like you literally just got to manifest them and know why people love Classic. If you can answer that question, then you can pretty much make anything work.
Yeah, I don't know if you like heard about it, but like the whole concept of SoD being like level 25 raids and level 40 raids and so on, that was an idea that came from a server called Chromicraft. Like it wasn't even that long ago. I think it was 4 years ago that they came up with that idea. It's very clear, even if they will never admit to it, that they are taking a look at like the classic pros private servers and taking their ideas, like the bed, you know, the camping bed that you can drop and you get arrested. That's an idea they got
Yeah.
from Turtle Wow. That's another private server. They are taking
Oh,
ideas
that's
from there
awesome.
all the time. I think it's cool.
Yeah, no, yeah, I mean, I see nothing wrong with it. It might as well implement them. They've been good. They've been awesome, and going to get that stuff, like, what's, I don't see any problem with it. They're stealing Blizzard's,
Oh,
WoW,
for
so,
sure, for
if
sure.
you let them steal your ideas and implementations.
The things I got to
I
see,
wish they could
man,
be more civil with it. Yeah,
the things I got to see from private servers, like I always say, there is no place that you can play WoW that isn't evil anymore. But private servers, they are shady as all hell. You got no idea how much money those people make. I got my heart doesn't bleed for them at all. Don't get me wrong.
yeah. I've only played like I only tried a private server like jeez when I was a kid, like teenager years, like over a decade ago, and it's just to try Wrath PvP at end game back in like once
The
we were in like
bugs.
MOP or something. Yeah, like just take me back. I was like, yeah, let's see how I can do now that I'm a little bit older. I understand the game. I'm not just putting on things because it says male. I was a hunter main back then, so like I had some shaman gear on my character because I didn't know any better. I was like, it says hunter shaman, that's good for me, and just rocking like caster boots or something, like just completely wrong. I'm like, well, it says hunter, why isn't that good for me?
You know, when I was leveling my first character, it was a shaman. I had this thing in my mind. I must have been let's see, I think I was 8 years old, and I was convinced that armor was the only stat that mattered. So I would look at strength, agility. This is worthless. Look at this white piece of armor. It has 100 more armor on it. I'm gonna be like
There you
immortal.
go.
And I hit like a wet noodle the whole time. It was kind of like a whole gaslighting story because like my brother, this is like TVC we're talking about. The alliance had no shamans at the time, and my brother needed a resto shaman for the raid, and he like got me to play the game, and he was like showing me like, you remember that guy that made vanilla PvP videos, Unbreakable, the two-handed guy that one-shot people.
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, he was showing me those videos, and he was like, "Oh, you should play one of these, man. You take a look at how good they are at hitting people and stuff." And I listened to him. I played a shaman. I leveled the whole time. And then when it came time to do dungeons and stuff, I was like level 70. I was like, "Let's go, guys!" with my with my two-handed mace, and they were like, "No, you're healing." That
Yep.
was my life.
There's Healy jail for you.
I was so excited.
Me and
Oh.
my friends from high school that also played WoW, we would race home to see who could start the raid first for pugging VOA and like ICC. It was great.
Those were the days. There's something about a childlike wonder that makes this game like 20 times better than it is. I
Oh
wish I
yeah,
could get that
just
again.
yeah. After playing Classic for these past 5 years, I wish so badly I played. I was old enough to play it at any degree in 2004. It would have been so awesome. I'm only 28, so like I would have been like 6, 7 back then. Like it would have not been the best. Like I would have been terrible at it, but I wish I could have seen Classic and Vanilla back in the day.
Oh, I didn't even speak Spanish at the time. When we were to go do Karazhan, bro, my brother would like listen to the raid leader and tell me what to do, like in Spanish on real time. We were like separate chairs in the same room. It was a mess, bro.
There you go.
If it didn't involve just casting Chain Heal rank 4 and sitting still, I couldn't do it. It was awesome.
This is a mechanic. You need to do this.
Like many years later, when I was doing a Karazhan Pog, like I asked one guy, "Do you know the fights?" And he was like, "Yeah, I gotta cast Chain Heal rank 4." And I was like, "That's the best answer I've ever got, man. You're in."
I love when they try to like sell themselves for pugs and groups like that, and they're like giving them a quiz, and they just give that like some answer that I'm like, yeah, you know something about the game at least.
That's all you
Like
had to
that's a
do.
good one.
That's all you had to do. If you can
Yep,
cast Chain Heal rank 4, you're in. That's literally all they
yep.
had to do.
We don't have achievements yet, so they can't link their copy pastas ahead of the curve.
Oh, like in Cataclysm to get into one pog, they were doing like heroic. I just like went to Wowhead and I just got the HTML code and I just linked the. You didn't know you can do that? You just go to Wowhead
Yeah,
and get
yeah.
like an in-game link. It worked. I got in.
And yeah, you just link it, and they're like, "What's up?"
They never follow up on it. It's crazy. They never actually like check out if you actually got it. They just see it on chat and it's good to go for me.
Yeah, that's great. Like, uh, retail something. Did you ever play Dragonflight or any of the newer expansions?
No, I'm considering trying out the War Within. Are you interested in it at all? From what you've seen?
I played the last season of Dragonflight and just sort of gave my honest comparisons about it in a video, and like it was actually surprising. One thing that I found incredibly surprising was the classic players are way more toxic than retail players.
Oh
Like if I
yeah.
asked a question in retail, they were like so helpful and kind, and that threw me off like completely. I have always heard like retail players are elitist sweaties and they won't help you and shit like that, but I really only had a lot of positive experiences with retail players. Except for
Uh,
like one dude died early in a key and then he left. But retail, I think, is really fun if you have friends and like you're playing with a solid group of people. Without that, it just, I feel like you'll burn out. Like a lot of my friends are like, we gave up on it because they're like, well, War Within's coming out. There's nothing much to do. What are we working towards? Like we're progressing towards nothing. This gear won't matter in a month. Like we're not going to be top tier anything. It's just going to go next. So I'll probably try it just because I have a lot of friends that are playing it. Guildies from my old guild, from SoD Saviors now, and some IRL friends. But I don't know how much I'll go into it.
yeah, I mean, like the thing about classic players is that they are delusional. I think it, I look at it this way. I think it's super ironic. The things that private server players used to say about like retail, it actually flipped over. They used to say that since Classic was like so vanilla, was so hostile to the player, it was so hard to get anything done in it. Like it created like a very good social behavior and structure of people that we're all in this together. You know, we like if we're mean to each other, we're never gonna get anywhere. And like now, Classic 20 years later is so freaking easy that like the first time you get into an inconvenience, people start like killing each other. You know, and
Oh yeah.
I am not
Like
delusional. I wouldn't last a second in Mythic. I cannot play Mythic. That thing is like terrifying, bro. Like I see a single fight on it, I cannot even tell what's going on anymore. It's not even
yeah,
comparable.
yeah. There's a lot with that. It's crazy. At ranged, we just sit back, cast Frostfire Bolt and just relax till the boss is dead. Pretty hard. Definitely would recommend if you're like a content creator, play healer or a caster, so you can just sit back, relax, enjoy it. Tank's pretty similar too. You just get to, sit
I
there
don't
and
know,
tank.
man. I
Not
get
too
yelled at all the
challenging.
time. That's kind of my thing.
Okay, okay. Yeah, you just say, well, watch your threat meter, Just tell them to watch threat, then there you go.
I don't know. Like
It's
I don't
always
even
their
think.
fault.
I think they made tanking way too easy because I don't know, maybe some other classes are having a hard time on it, but Vigilance is such a broken rune as a warrior that I could do like half the damage I'm doing now and I would still hold aggro for the most part.
Yeah, Spirit of the Alpha is insane.
Yeah,
That
that
like
too.
just having that on you, and our tier bonuses for it. I think every tank has like a threat increase when you get your 4 or 6 piece.
10%,
It's
yeah.
just nutty. And then I think they all scale with defense now in some degree.
Yeah,
So like their
for
tank
attack
stat
power.
makes them pump even more. It is just insane how much like better we get on so many levels.
Yeah, I don't know like the whole approach of like making defense a lot more appealing, and they got quite a few ahead of it. I was debating the whole time, and like I think the set bonuses made me choose over to go for the defense set. But usually, like if you go for the tanking set instead of the DPS set as a warrior before, you were griefing, and now that's actually something you wanna do, and I think that's really cool. Like my fear on it is I think they are progressively making threat less of an issue every phase. And I got a lot of fear over that. Because if we got no threat, what is there to do as a tank anymore? Like we got only one or two mitigation cooldowns. You cannot go for the retail approach of like mitigating damage is like the way you play a tank properly or stuff. What are they gonna do? Put like 20 tank swaps every fight to give us something to do? I am very worried about what they are gonna do with tanking in Classic Plus. You do play a tank, right? Though you play a druid.
Yeah, yeah. Druid's really hard. You just, if there's more than 3 mobs, you press swipe, and you can berserk and mangle too if you really need to. But you just press swipe and mangle, and 5 stacks will last rate. But it's really, really riveting.
Yeah,
I have like no threat issues. I can tell if I have alpha on me or not because if I swipe once, I have everything. But if I have to swipe twice, then that means I don't have alpha. So I'm like, where's my alpha? I have to press 2 buttons instead of one. This is insane.
Yeah, like as a warrior, Thunderclap is so busted right now. Thunderclap is so disgustingly busted. We're supposed to get Shockwave, the AoE talent, the AoE rune. I didn't even get it. I don't need it. It's just I'm gonna
Yeah,
get it at some point. I keep promising my raid. I'm not good. I don't know, man. It takes way too long to get it. But
you'll save some lives with it, that's for sure.
yeah, I guess. Like the one thing that is like really cool about it is the AoE stun, and that's super good for like Sulfuron and Majordomo. That's the only thing that's gonna get me to do it. But threat wise, is Thunderclap is so disgusting. It's not even close.
Yep, yep.
And 10 targets, by the
Druid
way.
lucked out on their tank runes. They just kind of get them for doing like no effort at all. Feral Druid's like the easiest class to get all your runes on. It's like not like I saw the warrior ones for phase 4 and what you guys had to do. Like the whole, I think it's Shockwave where you have to fight like some colossal titan in
I was
silicas or
like, screw
something.
it, I'm not gonna do it. I'm not gonna do it. I looked
Yeah,
at it.
yeah,
I'm gonna have to now, but I really don't. Bro, it takes you like a day, and you need help from two other people to do it. It's like the Onyxia attunement. Have you tried getting an alt Onyxia attune right now? Like, nobody wants to help you. It's
yeah. No
awful.
one's doing it. Oh, it's because we all have our neck. There's no
Yeah, it's
reason to
bind on
do it. We can
account.
just go buy it from a vendor.
I got a friend of mine that
I
started
hope.
like 2 weeks later. It was awful. We couldn't get a healer for him.
Yeah, I've had to organize a few just guild runs, just get all of our guildies to go out and go do it because they're just struggling. They're asking for it like weeks and weeks later. I kind of I don't like I like it because it makes it easier for me in my life, but like starting to see the negative side effects of it. And I also feel like they should let you have the point 0.5 vendor and allow you to trade in your base tiers on a BOA account wide basis. Because if Oni is good enough for it, then I think the point 0.5 quest is to sort of help alts get geared and help them that way, but still make it to where you have to go and get the original tier 0 pieces to trade it in. So you have to actually do something and play the game. You can't just go and buy it and be like, oh, alt level 60, alt ready for raid.
Yeah. I mean, like, that's the downside of making it bind on account, that, like, nobody has a reason to go back to it. Like, one thing I fear is that they remove the attunement altogether. I think it would be a lot better if they just nerf the mobs so you can solo them, so you still gotta do the whole quest line. That's what I would do if I were them.
Yeah.
Just make them
Or
weaker.
add like, or add NPCs that help you,
Oh,
something
yeah.
like that. Just make it to where you can solo it.
That's all it would take really to fix it. I think it's not a crazy hard thing to fix. Like, I don't know, some sort of trinket you get only for that quest that summons a black dragon to help you because, you're going to,
Yeah.
you're
Yeah.
helping the black dragons. That kind of makes sense, I guess. Like in,
Anything like that.
in what's the name of this dungeon from TVC? The Black Moraz. Remember the Black Moraz?
Yeah.
That you
Yeah.
summon the
Yeah. You get
golden
your little
dragons?
bomb thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Make one of those. That would be pretty cool.
Yeah. Yeah, there's so many things that they could do. They could just throw a target dummy down there that it attacks the whole time, like make it brain dead. Because most people like they're not going out there to kill the dragons for fun, right? They're doing it for one thing and one thing only, and it's to
Yeah.
complete that quest. So instead of having to find a tank and healer willing to help them, they have to go try to solo it and fail.
Yeah, it's pretty much impossible. Like I saw hunters doing it, which was kind of crazy. Actually, shout out to Table Slam. I don't know if you know that guy, but he makes feral druid videos. He found a way to solo them. Like as a druid, it took him like
As a
30
fair,
minutes.
yeah, just kite it. You could go outside, kite it, rest, heal yourself, fight it a little, run away.
Oh yeah, get this. He kited like the one in Tanaris. He kited it all the way to Gadget Sand, so the guards would kill it. And I think for the
Yeah,
red guy, the big one, he did like something similar where it took him to like I think Dark Iron something. You know that bridge. I think those guys could kill it. I don't remember what he did there,
yeah.
or something like that.
That's awesome.
It took him like 30 minutes though. Oh, like one
I,
mistake and you gotta start over.
yeah, it's tough on some classes to leash things that far. It is like it's real tough. I remember in phase 2 doing broken alliances on a hunter and you just kite the dragon, level 50 dragons to Kargath to get your like bis armor or something.
Yeah,
It was I like those strategies. They're cool and innovative and like they provide such a unique challenge to the game as well.
that was my favorite thing to do on a maze, like going like level 5 or something and just kiting Hogger to the guards on the tower. Is hilarious.
Yeah, I did a lot of it playing hardcore, like kiting mob, like any elite mob that I had to solo. I usually do a priest in hardcore just because it's really easy, and mainly
Yeah.
because I don't get bored. Like I know my limits as a priest. Like I am wanding and dotting and killing it one thing at a time. I'll play my mage and I'll be like, yeah, I could AoE farm this perfectly. One like blip in your internet, one resist, and you're just dead. And it's like, damn it, got to start again.
I tried hardcore, man. I couldn't do it. It's like so stressful because it's not what I would call hard. It's just like you gotta be like absolutely paranoid and risk averse and like get your attention on it for like
Yeah.
40 hours. It's
Yeah,
so
you just gotta like
stressful.
know everything about the game,
Yeah,
no big deal. I like it though. I like the rush it gives me. Like it's like a drug almost at times. You're like constantly like what's happening, what's near me, what's going on? Is this safe? Am I gonna do this quest? Am I gonna die here? Like is there a trap? What is this? I can't remember it. And then just going through that whole like it's like a weird rush for me. I like it a lot.
I think if it took like 6 hours to do and not 40 hours, I would be like a lot more down for it. Like Compared to like other super hard stuff that like Dark Souls no hit runs. How long does it take to do one of those? 4 hours, 3 hours? It's not even close,
Yeah,
man.
Dark Souls, I can't even get into Dark Souls. I've tried. It's just like I'm like I'd just rather invent like I could figure it out eventually, I'm sure, but I'm just like it's just like this isn't hard. I can look up exactly what build to go, how to beat it if I want to, but like I don't know. There's just that like it's just punishing yourself for no reason is how I see those games. Not
Oh
for
yeah.
me.
I mean they got like a very loyal player base, but it's not for everybody. That's for sure. I guess we could say
Yeah,
that
I
about
got
WoW.
no, everyone's tried WoW at this point. Like,
Yeah.
come on. In some degree, manner, whether it was just that trial account, you probably tried WoW at some point in your life.
Yeah, I remember there was a time where trial accounts could trade with people and like it was all bots. It was disgusting. It lasted for quite a long
Yeah,
time too. I think it all went into like middle TBC where they got rid of that. You could only get to like level 40, but if you could like make like infinite bots for free, it was still super worth it. It was
yep.
awful.
I had so this was crazy to me. People were taking like when it was TBC, when a lot of the servers were dying, like all of them were moving and fairly, and it became like the mega server here on the US
Yeah.
servers. Like people were muling and they would make a new character, like they would keep their herbalist or their gatherer on a server, like their max level gatherer that could just get everything, and they would just constantly gather herbs on uncontested dead servers, and they would mail it to a level one character and free transfer that dude off with a ton of just max level mats and flood the market. I thought it was such a great, like, I was like, I didn't even think of that. Like, it was crazy to see that type of dedication and innovation towards it.
You know, like I was so upset about like that's why I quit Classic actually. I quit in the BWL because the freaking Black Lotus, it was like 400 gold for a flask. I was like, I am never gonna get to
Black
raid
Lotus
anymore.
Mafia.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I was a poorly old druid, okay? I had no hope of farming gold on a decent level doing anything else. And I just got to the point where it's not worth it, man. I got farm gold for 6 hours to raid Molten Core. It's not fun anymore. And I love that thing
Yeah.
because they were screwing the man.
Yeah, it's sad to see that type of collusion. I had every enchant in Classic back in the day, so I just sat in Oregon was just a money printer. I was one of like three people that had +4 stats to chest. It was awesome. I 20 gold per enchant for pretty much the entire game. I made so much off of that. Like it funded everything I did.
That's crazy. Yeah, I mean it's not bad anymore because they changed it. They fixed Black Lotus to the point that I don't know what exactly they did. I think it can spawn instead of like a normal plant, like it's not limited anymore.
Yeah, yeah, it's a rare drop from the max level herbing
Oh
stuff,
yeah,
and you can get it from the real crates, and it's just wild spawns multiple. They doubled gathering materials, so like how they've sort of amped all the other profession creations up, they allow you just get double mats from gathering now too, Black Lotus included.
I feel really bad for them because they lost their moneymaker. But on the other side of it, I am like so glad that we don't have to farm stuff anymore. Oh god, it was so
Yeah,
expensive.
I think it balances out, right? Like, sure, you have to, like, it's not as exclusive and you don't have to sell like one big 200 sale, but you can just sell 10, 20 sales, right? Like, you can do it with about the same amount of effort. It just keeps the economy at a cheaper level so the average player can afford it. At least that's what it feels like to me. I don't know. I have like 10,000 gold that I just sit here on and do nothing with. I just buy shit for
Oh
my
my
guild.
god, can I have some of that, bro? I got like 200 gold on me right now.
Damn.
I am on
Yeah,
my
well,
last
yeah.
Libram.
Got any alts that are 35? You don't even have to get them to 41.
Yeah,
Just
I should go
level
level the
tailoring.
professions.
I'm telling you, level tailoring, level leatherworking, just have them sit and sell at this. It's just 3 to 4 days, 400 or 500 gold now. It's just a money printer that'll passively always profit.
You know what? I should work on it, honestly. I am always broke.
Yeah.
I just hate farming gold. That's like my number one thing with this game. And like that was also a problem in Cataclysm. I just cannot farm gold for the life of me, man.
Yeah. I mean, it just takes time, and you got to do it. And most of the things is either just kill a ton of mobs, get really lucky, or just do the grueling, boring thing.
Yeah, I was
That's
like so happy during phase one and the GDK piece because I had to do absolutely nothing. I had like four ults. It was like money rolling in, doing nothing all day. It was awesome.
yeah. GDKP is such a conflicting topic because, like, I
Oh, don't
do
get me
think
wrong.
it's
I
one of
think
the
they are
best.
bad.
Yeah, it's one of the like best rating systems I think that has ever been invented, and it has all the motivation there, and the reward system is the purest. But with everyone being so corrupt and like buying gold and the bots and all the illicit things that are in the game that people so frequently do, it just ruins the system, and it just becomes a way to just launder all that illicit gold to so many different sources. And it just turns the game into such a pay to win and destroys the economy in the process. So like the normal player just has to GDKP or they're gonna just never have any amount of gold that means anything. So I definitely love that they banned it, and I think it has been a great test and seeing how good it works with it banned. And the bot restrictions in SoD have been phenomenal as
Way
well.
better.
They restricted yeah, they just absolutely annihilated them and restricted them for 30 days to trade. Like new accounts just can't trade for 30 days. So it's just an amazing way to just shut them down and hopefully have a good server that works.
I hope they stick to it. I mean, like my criticism with GDKP wasn't even the botting economy and so forth, because like we just said, at the end of the day, banning bots. If GDKP was completely harmless, banning bots would have fixed everything. My problem with GDKP is it's such a good system that why would you make a guild? Why would you make friends?
A
Why would you like
yeah,
try to socialize with other people? That's my problem with it. It is more efficient than a guild. So the whole like
yeah,
raiding experience dies because of it. But don't get me wrong. If they put like a button that gave me like the best gear in the game for free doing nothing, I would press it. It doesn't mean that it's not stupid.
yeah, yeah, very true. Yeah, that could I actually had like we had our guild that did it, and then we also did it like a guild GDKP as well. So like we would do a normal run and then all of our alts we'd have a GDKP. That's what I did for like most of Wrath and like TBC. I think we started in Axe in OG Classic and we just went all the way up with that sort of philosophy and method, and it worked pretty well, but definitely can see that community aspect where people could leave and stuff because GDKP, it's like, why would I raid for free when I can raid and make gold?
Yeah,
Or I
that's
guess
the
pay to
problem.
raid, pay to
You're
raid.
you're kind of griefing yourself if you're not doing GDKPs. Like, why would you help like your new guild, your like somebody that doesn't have any gear like in your guild anymore at that point? Like, you're wasting gold. You'll be stupid not to do
Yep.
GDKPs. That's the problem with them. It's not that I think they are like awful or that they are. It's the contrary. It's they are too good. That's the problem with
Yeah,
them.
that's a new take. I haven't seen many people like say that about it, but I totally agree with that. I'm gonna start using that. Like, I'm gonna say they're just too good, too much winning with it.
Yeah, like if something is trivializing the game in some aspect of it, and I don't know, I am bad at the game, so the social aspect of it is like the main appeal for me. Like this is the same vein as like putting an item that doubles your DPS randomly. Like if GDKPs made it so you were like socially more successful on the game randomly, everybody, without any more challenge. I think it's like a huge issue for the social fabric of the game.
Yeah, and we even saw that with incursions too. Like incursions were sort of mini GDKPs in that aspect. Like they were BIS XP, BIS gold, BIS
Oof.
this like professions with the skinning and stuff. Like they were just the best everything. And if you weren't doing them, you were just wasting your time. It's insane how much they killed the world in phase three. Like I hope they learn. I hope that's one of those negative lessons that they learned and they never put anything like them again because it almost destroyed SoD, I'd say.
Yeah, because like going back to like why I like Phase 4 and the staggering content again, we never ran out of stuff to do in Phase 4. In Phase 3, you were like almost best in slot from the get go. Like I am still
Yeah,
wearing my
the sunken
incursion
temple
shoulders
gear.
right now. Like you could
Yeah,
get a 6 piece best in slot, like not even 8 piece, just 6 piece from Honored. It took you like 2 afternoons, maybe, and you were like best in slot. Nothing else mattered. You didn't have to go back to Numerican anymore. You had like hit cap, crit cap, everything you could ever want. It destroyed the freaking game.
yeah, yep. Best gear too. Yeah, I usually say that. I've said that line so many times. So like every video I talked about incursions, that was said. But yeah, gear as well for sure. Phase three had a lot of failure, but I think they definitely learned from it. They built upon so many systems here in Phase four. Like the real system, I think, is a direct upgrade from the Wild offering system. I
Absolutely.
think the BRE Black Rock Eruption event, that is such an upgrade for incursions. Like that's what incursions should have been.
Just
Get
put
a
a
rep,
daily
you
lockout.
know.
That's all they had to do, man.
Yeah, yeah, like even the incursions now, like I didn't mind going there and leveling. Like when I did my druid, I leveled 50 to 53. I logged in, did some dailies, used up his rested XP, logged out, played my mage. Like just a quick hour of hitting up the two incursions, get a few levels. I think that where they are now is a great state. Just from what they were, like it
That's what
is
they
not
should have been. Just
game
like a nice
breaking.
catch up for
Yeah.
casuals, not like the end all be all.
Yep. Yep, they were just too good at everything. Like, why would you do anything else? I
Arguably,
tried
they are
nearly
even better
every.
now, if you think about
Yeah,
it, because they give you like double, but you cannot spam them.
yeah, yep. They have a finite amount that you get
Yeah.
from them. I tried so many things in phase three to see if I could get any gold farm to be better than it. Like just I tried nearly every farm I could think of with as being as efficient as possible with all of them having all the professions, all the skills, just everything you could do, and I still couldn't beat an incursion loop. Like it was kind of ridiculous. The only thing I had was hunters soloing Uldaman and getting some lucky drops.
That was so dumb.
And like yeah, I mean, I don't have a problem with it. Like, if a max level character wants to go there and farm gold, boost people, I don't have a problem with that type of stuff because they're gonna figure out a way to do it anyway. Like, boosting has been here for a while. They're just trying to get their character leveled up, and it's just when it's swiped gold that I start to see the problem with it. But I don't see a problem with just power leveling people and stuff like that.
They did put like a nerf to boosting in SoD, didn't they? I don't recall. Like they nerfed the XP you can get or something like that, right?
Yeah, so what people do is they lock their characters, so like it'll just be a level 40 hunter boosting you in Uldaman instead of
Oh.
a level 60. Yeah, they'll keep their XP at that point so they can do it. But yeah, if you're with I don't know if it's pretty much the SOM rules that they instituted. So like if you're someone who's way higher than the level, you get significantly reduced XP. But also, the people who are paying for boost, they're the people who don't actually want to play the game, so they don't really care that much. Like they'll just AFK and do whatever they're doing while they're getting boosted up all the way.
Well, back during the mania that was like phase 2 and like people playing 7 ults together, I boosted like almost all my characters because it was like pretty cheap. Like I would have like a mage pull all of Wailing Caverns for me 20 times in a row. It was way too convenient. It was like so much faster than anything else you could do. It's not even close. And it was
Yeah,
AFK too.
yeah. I was tempted to, but I was doing the whole make the all 12 rune videos for every single class in phase one, which I did complete. I got that goal accomplished, which was crazy, but I died in phase two trying to do it. 25 to 40 pre XP buff was just too much. I got my druid there. I did mage and druid at week one, like both to 40, both rune videos, and I was like, I can't keep doing this. Like that was just way too much effort, time, work. Like it nearly made me almost quit SoD.
Yeah, I didn't meet my goal when Cataclysm came out. I wanted to do like a guide for every spec. I think I only got 26 out of 32. I'm still upset about it. It's
Go
really
back and
impressive that
finish
you got.
it.
I might. I don't know. People don't like Cataclysm anymore. I did a Cataclysm video the other day. People wanted my head.
Yeah,
I hope
they
Firelands
tend to
picks
have,
it up.
yeah, they tend to have a little feedback when you switch up on them suddenly. I'm worried about I'm thinking about doing War Within videos, but like I would still have to do SoD videos, like War Within's gonna just be the second video every day. You're gonna get a little bonus content. And if you're trying it out, well, there you go. And if you're not, well, don't watch it. And watch it to support me and the SoD channel, I guess. It's gonna be interesting.
Yeah, it's really weird. Like I got like comments saying, "Oh, you sold out to Cataclysm, man," and I'm like, "Where are you? I've been making Cataclysm videos for like 3 years. I was making Cataclysm private server videos." But there's something about mixing it up
Yeah.
every so often that people get really upset about. I guess it's funny. I mean, I don't take it personally because it's just what happens in YouTube, I guess.
Yeah, I feel like WoW is like there's almost like three cults. You got your Kata cult, you got your classic cult and SoD cult, and then you get your
Yeah,
retail cult, and everyone just
and
hates
the
the
Era
other one
cult.
with the passion. Yeah, they're just like absolutely no. Like the Era cult, that one is like, whew. Watching how mad they got over giving Alliance War Chief's blessing, like I have never seen so much outrage
They
over
basically
something that
launched the whole DB
saves
at the
them.
Light thing to protest it. Like they were so
Yeah,
upset at it. Like they
yeah,
moved the
and
guild tab
like,
from O to J and it was an outrage. When they put the mount in Classic TVC, nobody batted an eye. I don't know, I just do not understand those people.
oh, people hated the TBC mount that you could pay for the boost. They hated that one.
I didn't see a
Slash spit,
change.org for it.
yeah, true, true. I was gonna say slash spit is banned in classic because of that mount. Like as
Yeah.
in gold, so you see anyone on that mount, slash spit on them, and it's you can't even do it now in SoD. Like it just doesn't let you do that emote.
That's gotta be like the most ego boost Asmongold has ever gotten because like just casually mentioned it one stream and the next stream Blizzard was like delete, 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 delete.
Yeah, yeah, it was funny.
She was like, I got real power here, bro.
Yeah, the amount of people just doing it. It did save you like 90 gold too, because you didn't have to buy the mounts. Because once you got to TBC, the gold is switched around. So it's like you saved a lot of gold by using it on your characters.
Yeah, I don't know. Like, it definitely made a lot of money, so I think they are gonna do it again. Like, the Cataclysm Mini Ragnaros mount, I think, is even more egregious.
Yeah,
But at that point, you
yeah,
cannot
they gave it
complain
to you
because,
for.
yeah, I think it was a 1 year preset or something.
Yeah, they did it for Wrath. They did it for Kata. Like ever since that boost, even though people were like, "This is terrible, don't do it. It ruins the game." They just kept on going. I do think it's not as impactful in Wrath and Kata by any means,
Yeah,
but
this is
giving
almost
it to
free
you
at
at
that
the end
point.
of Classic, yeah, giving it to you at the end of Classic and still allowing you to use it for like 2 months before TBC came out, I think that was like the problem with it. It was like, let's do, I had a breakdown video of it back then that like, how much value is this mount? And it's like, well, for, the 100 hours it'll take you to get from 1 to 60. You save that time, you get your mount paid for. Like, this is the most useful thing that you were ever gonna have to be able to buy.
It was so profitable that even botters were getting it because it
Yeah,
saved them like
yeah.
so much like server time.
Yep, they just buy it. Well, it came with game time too. They gave you
Yeah.
like a month or two of game time. So if you planned on playing in a month or two, you should just buy the boost. Like I bought it 100%. Like it was like so good. It was too good not to buy if you cared about the game.
Yeah, I mean, like the WoW community reacts to things in like the weirdest way possible. Like one example I wanted to tell you is that, like, I remember when a Final Fantasy 14 expansion came out. I don't even remember which one, but Willie like took like a 1 month break from WoW because it was like the end of TVC and there was nothing going on, and he made like 1 month of videos of the new expansion for Final Fantasy 14 or something. And like when he came back to WoW, people were like putting in the comments. I remember the vitriol. It was like, you came crawling back to WoW. Like somehow he spited them or something.
Yeah. Yeah, that stuff's crazy. Like
People are
just
crazy.
like it's WoW or die. If you go any other game, do any other thing, you're just wrong.
Yeah, I guess you gotta make a second channel. That's what I did.
Yeah. I got bored in phase 3 and I even I went back and did Warcraft 3 for the first time just to see where this whole universe came from. Like I knew a little bits and pieces of the story from watching like Noble videos throughout the years, but like I never really had played it, and I had a lot of fun playing that and get into it. It was pretty awesome. I definitely see why the WoW fandom is so diehard, and just the fact that they turned an RTS into World of Warcraft from one game series is it's so much more impressive what they did. It made me appreciate Classic even more, and just like the world I was playing in.
Yeah, like Vanilla WoW is full of Warcraft. There's this video by WoW Crendor, it's amazing. Warcraft 3 in WoW, I don't know if you've ever seen it. But he basically goes into like every character in Warcraft 3 that is present in WoW, like all the side characters, people that you never batted an eye on. Like, it's crazy like the amount of detail they put into the vanilla universe when you look at like the Warcraft 3 campaign and stuff like especially like the plague areas because that's like most of the human
Yeah,
campaign. So many
yeah,
npcs that got like random names. I messed up my, oh there you go. So many npcs got random names that like it's like, yeah, that was a boss in Warcraft 3, the guy is still there, it makes sense, he won, you know.
yeah. They did such a good job playing it. I noticed a lot of those things. The uh, where Undercity is and all those setups, like that stuff is all the same as well. Like the map is just straight, like Silver Pine Forest, Tears Fall Glades, Eastern Western Plaguelands. Like that map is so spot on. It's crazy how well they did of making that whole area into WoW.
That's one thing that I hate about the new retail expansions. And like when they abandon the low polygon look that like old WoW used to have, like it doesn't look like Warcraft 3 anymore. Like vanilla WoW looks very much like Warcraft 3, and
Yeah,
it doesn't look cool anymore. Like I
I
know it
think it was
looks,
Shadowlands. Shadowlands, I think
yeah.
they just are like, yeah, here's an updated graphic system, have fun. It's like, what the heck?
Like even the humans in Warcraft, they look like a cartoon, and they don't look like that anymore.
Yeah, they're like somewhere between like a cartoon and real. I don't like the retail assets at all, really. I
They
like
look
them
like a
for
Korean
taking.
MMO. It lost all its
Yeah,
uniqueness. It has no character
yeah.
anymore. Like you could watch like a Korean MMO from. The only difference is the Korean MMO would look better. That's it. There is
It
like no
reminds me a lot
aesthetic.
of like Black Desert Online and that
Yeah,
look of it all.
like all the new
I
MMOs look like that. It's so generic. It sucks.
Yeah, I think I did you see the Turtle WoW doing the Unreal Engine for WoW?
Oh yeah, they got taken
That
down.
looks yeah. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's what got them shut down, but that looked so beautiful.
To be fair, they take Turtle Wow down all the time. They are in Russia, so like you cannot actually physically go there and like get them in a lawsuit. But they took down their Discord back in the day. Like this is from like 3 years ago. I don't know. They probably happened more
Uh,
times. They took down their Discord. They took down their Telegram. They took down their website several times because it was like on Wix or something like that. They took down like every social media. They had their Instagram, everything like 20 times. That's just Wednesday for them. Like people were panicking. It's been a while it's been a thing for a
yeah.
long time.
I don't know too much about it. I just sort of see it when it becomes like a big deal. Like they launched that, everyone freaked out about it, and Blizzard hit them with the hammer, and it's like, oh, well, no more Turtle WoW. That sucks if people enjoyed that.
It's even worse now because like how are you like in the middle of the war? How are you gonna go to Russia and like get some sort of civil lawsuit? It was like hypothetically possible before. It's not possible anymore
Yeah, that'd be yeah, that's crazy. I always
because
wondered if like World War III, hopefully never breaks out, but like what happens to
oh
the
god.
internet and stuff? Like are people just gonna be sitting there like making fun of the other side, posting memes and shit? Like it's gonna be wild since we're so interconnected nowadays.
Do you know what an electromagnetic pulse is?
Oh yeah, yeah,
A
that's
single
terrifying.
nuke
I
goes
think
off
that
and the
would
entire internet dies. The whole globe.
yeah,
It's terrifying.
yeah, yeah. I hope
We're
we
gonna get
never
set
see
back like
that.
150 years if like
Oh,
a
but I
single one
mean
goes off. It's terrifying. It's off. Oh god.
all that they've been hyping up the sun recently with all the solar flares. They're like, we're gonna get hit by the sun and it's gonna cause that, and everything's gonna go crazy.
Oh yeah, it happens. It destroys a bunch of phone lines and stuff. But keep in mind, the sun is like
Yeah,
light years away. Like a nuke drops on top of a city, and everything is interconnected nowadays. The power grid goes out, the phone goes out, everything. We're going back to the Stone
yeah.
Age. It's not even
Hopefully, we never
close.
see that happen. Hopefully, it never comes to be.
Sure do hope, man. Just a terrifying prospect. Like we take it for granted nowadays. It's like, oh, every year the new iPhone comes out, every year like computers get a little better, every year this and that. Like that ends. I'm not saying we're gonna like destroy the world if like World War III happens, but like that whole thing ends. We go back to the 20th, the early 20th century. We're going back to Terramore. Yeah, that guy, what Garros did to
Yeah,
Terramore.
I saw that. Yeah, I saw that in
We're gonna be like,
chat. That made me laugh. Yeah,
oh,
well,
jeez.
I saw when like everything with Ukraine and Russia was happening and the sun solar flares, like they were posting a bunch of stuff here in the United States. They're like, how like can you survive without power? Like 90% of Americans would be completely useless without electricity or any of the conveniences. And it's like, yeah, that's probably true. Like I don't know how to do most of that stuff. I probably be fine. My dad was an Eagle Scout and has taught me a lot of that survival stuff personally. But like most people, probably not. Like I could definitely see people that have absolutely no skills or any ideas like that at all.
The problem is like this is like the zombie movies, you know. The problem is not the surviving aspect of it. The problem is that people are gonna kill each other for stuff. Like if the power grid goes out, your water system goes out, no tap water, your food production goes out because there is no industry, there is no fuel, so that means no agriculture. Like the chaos of it, that's where people die. Is a really real
Yep.
thing.
Yep. Best thing you can do is hunker down.
Go the hell away to Alaska and pray.
Yep. Just go all the way away.
Yeah, we also got some stuff from chat. If people, by the way, guys, leave your questions. If you, we can check it out now. We're kind of getting to the end here. If you got two prot
You're
warriors using vigilance of each other, how does it work? I think I tested that and it didn't let me. Did you check that out ever?
No, I don't have a Pro Warrior, so no, I haven't. But it it probably wouldn't work, or maybe it works. I don't know.
If I recall correctly, it didn't let me do it. Because I was,
Sounds right to not have both buffs.
because in theory, because of how threat modifiers work, that would be like an infinite feedback loop. Because you know you take 10% of the other guy's threat and then it's multiplied by your defensive stance and your spirit of the alpha and whatnot. But then you are generating more threat than you're taking, so the other guy is gonna take that threat from you, you know what I mean? So that guy is gonna get even more, and you know what I mean, it's exponentially multiplying. It should be like a feedback until it crashes the game or something.
Yeah, that definitely shouldn't work.
It's like that guy, that paladin that back when Reckoning could stack indefinitely, that he just got hit getting crit like for 2 hours and then he just one shot Kazakh.
Yeah, yeah, that was funny.
That was hilarious. Like he hit him so hard it lagged the server. He went to like half HP and he stayed like still for like 10 seconds and then he died. It was so funny to see.
They need to bring back infinite scaling and like the ZG Plague. That'd be fun.
Oh
I like that
jeez.
whole ZG Plague event. Like I know how toxic it would get here, but it'd be fun to just experience that
Oh
again. I was hoping they did it in Classic because like the CDC uses that as like a case study. Like they literally use World of Warcraft for how diseases spread because of that whole thing. And I was really looking forward to it in Classic. So maybe we'll get it in SoD and they'll just let us go crazy with it.
yeah, I
Apparently
don't know if
the
you heard about Simon Eyes on Molten Core Day
yeah,
1, what happened.
yeah, yeah. I was about to bring that up. That's where I
I
was
was
going. I
racing
was
him. He
like,
was dying on people and I was racing him so he would do it again.
that's great.
It was
Yeah, I
hilarious.
saw that. I was like, that they were quick with that one.
Yeah, that was so weird. Like, I didn't know you could die in ghost form. I didn't know that was even possible.
Yeah, probably had to do with the bug fixes with like the STV stuff, like adding that in, if I had to
Oh, that
guess.
makes sense. Well,
Yeah,
because it says
sometimes
1
my
HP,
character,
right?
yeah, yeah, I don't know.
I don't know, it was so funny though. Like Troll, and it turns
I
out
saw a
Troll
clip of
doesn't drop
that.
anything.
I saw the clip of it and I was like, oh shit, like that's killing everyone. I was like, wait, oh wait, that's now. I was like, that's SoD, that's here, that's I could have been a victim right there if I was playing because like I sit right outside the bank all the time. I was like, that could have been me.
And people were upset at him, like they were like he was griefing Orgrimmar, and I get it. But you gotta keep in mind, they lost 40 minutes of progression on the world race because of that bug. So I would also like do anything to get like the attention of Blizzard at that point. That's what
Yeah,
they had
take
to
it
do to
out
get
on
it
him.
fixed. That's what they had to do. Like if they didn't do that, they wouldn't have gotten fixed in time, you know?
Yeah.
That kinda screwed the guild. Like they could have probably gotten like horde number one instead of horde number three if that didn't happen. That was a huge deal. So
Yeah.
I totally get why
It's
they are upset. They were upset and lashing out at that point.
Yeah, I mean, anytime something like that happens, it's always on Blizzard. Like, you can't give us a weapon that can kill, you know? It's like giving a civilian a nuke. Like, that doesn't seem responsible or smart in any way, so let's not do that.
Absolutely. We don't have a second amendment for weapons of mass destruction. I sure do hope.
Yeah. Well, some people would think that you're supposed to have the same weapons the government has. You know, if you want a tank, you should be able to have a tank. You want a fighter jet, you should be able to have that.
Well, it is
That's some
legal here
people's
to own a tank.
interpretations.
Actually, you can get military surplus tanks. There's a guy that with a circus that lets you ride on it here. It's funny.
Yeah, but they can't fire. Like the weapon has to be inert, I believe. Like
Yeah,
you can't use the main cannon.
it's gonna be kind of odd to go to like the government and be like, could I get like 150 artillery runs, please?
That'd be
And
hilarious.
that would be really interesting to see how it worked out.
Pure chaos for sure.
Oh, jeez. The elections would get really weird, let me tell you that much.
Yeah. Oh yeah, my arsenal's bigger. That's where I would go for sure.
Oh, God. Okay, we also got a question from Dennis Kelly. At what point with our gear do you? I think we should have. Okay, I think we should have AQ and Nax at the 40-man levels, but locked to 20 players. BWL might be too much, but probably doable. I think he means like the HP values. How are the HP values in Ragnaros compared to original Ragnaros? I think they are the same, right?
I have no idea, honestly. They definitely seem like they have more because we're doing so much
Definitely.
more DPS. Like they definitely seem juiced up. Like the fights are taking a lot longer than what they were in even in like Shaz is like a 2 minute fight now instead of like 30 seconds to 20 seconds that it was in OG Classic with half to a fourth of the DPS we're doing. So they're definitely a lot higher values. Um, I don't know. Like, I wouldn't harp on specific like points. I definitely think 20 man rating has been an overwhelming success, and they'll probably keep with that. I think they might move to flex rating, possibly. They've hinted at it since that
Yeah.
bug was so like desired. Like people really wanted that bug back. Every notes video I read, it was either that or nerf shamans. Like they really wanted their 40-man molten cores for SoD. I didn't even know it existed. Like I just read it all and I was like, okay, we're going with 20. Not even gonna try it. Sometimes we'll do like 20 to 25 for the world bosses, but it's just to include people that want to be that are in the guild and want to come. But for me, I would say make them fun, like make them challenging, engaging fights. The number doesn't really matter as long as people are able to kill it for one and like actually participate in the fight. Like I had no idea what Shaz's mechanics were here in Molten Core because we always killed him in 20 seconds. The only thing I knew was that he can blink and we need to decurse. So I didn't know he could counterspell you. I didn't know he left those shadows behind that arcane explode as well. Like I'm learning so many mechanics from MC just because it is scaled up, and I it come to
You could ignore
think of
them
it as
before,
like yeah, like you just pumped hard and you were good, and now we're like actually having to see mechanics and like do strategies and play around them, and it's really cool to see.
I don't remember what boss it was. I think it was Gedon that he dropped like circles on the ground, and I was like wow, these circles on the ground really hurt. This hit two mechanic is kind of crazy, and they were like he always did that, and I was like wow, I guess in hit two he has so little damage. I never noticed.
No, he didn't always drop the circles. That's definitely a Psalm thing that they added. But yeah, when we first did Heat 2 Baron, when he did Inferno and that left a circle, like the massive one, we were like, oh shit. Like we now tank Doom and Gar's room because of that. But I was like, oh wow,
Oh
that
yeah, you
that our
have to.
strategy is not gonna work here.
I mean,
We
I
actually
think
did
Gedon
get the
is one of the
kill. We
easiest
kited
bosses.
it. Yeah, we kited it through the tunnel and somehow made it work. We just had bomb people keep going back,
Ooh.
and it was good to see.
That probably means your guild is
That,
way better added than you would think, because like coordinating that, holy crap. Like what we do is
yeah,
we send the hunter pet all the way to his room with like ISO the beast, and like the pet dies and it
yeah,
comes to me. And that's the
that's what
way
we're
we do
doing
it.
now. Yeah, that's what we're doing now and moving forward for sure.
The thing I even in
But the
hit
first
2, he
week,
does
I didn't
zero
know.
damage to the tank. No damage
Yeah,
whatsoever. If you get fire
yeah, it was
resistance
just the
cap,
Inferno.
I can totally see how like in hit level 3, Gedon would be like easier than in hit level 2. That's something like I saw with a bunch of other
Yeah,
bosses with fire damage, just because everybody else has fire res on them.
I've heard that a lot, like with most of the fights, because when you're above 200, like even if like you have everyone go 200, they get the Shaman Totem there at 250. Like just the threshold for just pure, like you're close to hard cap. Like you'll just have that 1% chance, and it's just insane with that. I've heard people say like Heat 3 is easier than Heat 2 because you have so much FR.
If you get time to prepare for it, it's gonna be way easier. Like because the way fire resistance works is if you get fire resistance cap, even if it does like a trillion damage, there's only a 1% chance you will take full damage in the fight. So
Yep.
if everybody's at the cap, like even if it's like almost a one shot, the healers are gonna be able to handle it because how often is it gonna happen really? You know? That
Yep,
could be.
absolutely.
So that's why I don't think that this way of making like the difficulty settings so the raid is too bad. I think it makes sense. Like again, my only problem with it is I think tier 1 doesn't have enough fire res. That's it. Like if they could put more fire, like an 8 set bonus on it or something, this would be like the best system ever. Even better than like heroic and Duldwar and whatever you can think of.
Yeah, I really do like how much like you've had to do with like just honestly pre-existing systems. Like they didn't have to they didn't change the Librem system in any way,
Yep.
and it's become like the most hot thing to go do and make gold off of or buy or just get for your character. And people are just doing burning essence runs and stuff like that, and it's just really cool to see like that immersive player behavior, like whatever the word I'm looking for with that, but just seeing that happen is really cool just by changing, giving a difficulty to a raid.
Yeah, I mean, like that's what I always seen Classic WoW to be. Like the difficulty is not the raid; it's preparing for the raid. That's why I like this approach so much. Now, I do not think they are gonna do it for, uh, like. Also, this is the problem, right? Like, the more you progress through the tiers and you get more crafted gear, the least you're gonna need. Like, fire resistance is gonna get trivialized. Like, if you get like phase 3 levels of like crafted items, because you know they are gonna have to buff the frost resistance items in Nax. They buffed everything else; they would be like useless. Like at that point, I think it's gonna be like super easy to get the cap for everybody. Ah, no, he salió
Yeah,
Lord.
I thought it was super interesting that the Demon Fall Canyon has 20 nature res and 20 frost res trinkets inside of them. It might be a little hint to what's to come with like Visitus and Saf and how like you need them for those fights, but like maybe you need them for the whole raid. Like I could very well see them like BWL, you need shadow resist in the same heat system that we have seen here, just tweak the gear. There already are shadow res sets and stuff that are for warlocks for AQ at least. So like the shadow res pieces are there. Add new ones that you have to craft. Then AQ is nature and Nax is frost, and it's just really easy to do. Like I was expanding on those systems. I was like, shit, like this is pretty. Like the content makes itself almost.
Yeah, and like people go back to farm it. Okay, they are saying to not give him ideas. Randy doesn't like farming resistance one bit, do you? I don't know. Like I think this could use more polish. That's for sure. Like a straight up one shot is now like a super powerful dot, but like dying straight up when you lose it, I don't think that's the way to go. But like just incentivizing you to get it. It doesn't even have to be a threshold. Just incentivizing people to get the fire resistance would be really cool. Although I think
Yeah.
parses are gonna ruin that. Nobody's gonna wanna do it.
I think it's the other way. I think it's the other way. I think the parsers are actually mad because they can't put on their full biz
Yes.
DPS gear that they've spent 3 phases farming and getting every material for, and they're like, "Wow, I can't use my Lionheart helmet now." It's like, well, just play Heat 2 if you want that. Like Heat 3 is supposed to be hard and challenging, and you need to hit these thresholds. I like it. It shakes it up. It makes it new. It makes it fresh. Because like we're in a 20-year-old universe. Like we know everything there is to know about classic WoW, and we're replaying it for the third time in 5 years. So like people know everything there is about the game. So like I don't know, I find it really refreshing and really enjoyable to play it that way. And it's made me, and I've made a few videos even on it, just showing people how to get their fire res gear and be prepared for it. And that's something I never thought I would ever have to make a video on. And now it's like appealing to the masses and helping a lot of people.
Yeah. I just I don't know how they could do it again for Blackwing Lair because like all the dungeons are out there. I hope we get new dungeons. That's for sure. Like my view of the difficulty system of classic has always been like, how about you make like a 20-man raid that is kinda hard and a 10-man raid that is pretty easy. That's the way I would have done it. But I don't think this is stupid. Or like there is nothing out of phase 2, phase 4 that I look at it and I think, except the PvP event at the launch, I thought that was stupid. But there's nothing I look in this phase and I think this is glaringly stupid. So I think we're way
Yeah, I
ahead of
think
phase
it's
3.
well refined. I
Way
think
ahead
it
of
is
phase
well
3 in every
refined
aspect.
and so many lessons learned from phase three. So many. And you can just see it like directly impacted, like wild offerings to the reels, BRE from incursions, and it is just insanely so easy to see how much they learned and made it awesome.
Everything is just a slightly better version of phase 3. Like phase 3 with common sense, that's phase 4 in a nutshell. Okay, we got the last
Yep.
question from chat here. It's about time to wrap this up now. Wow, it kind of flew by, didn't it? Lilbio from Lone Wolf is asking, do you think they will use the tier levels again for upcoming raids? Because I am okay to do it if it has more mechanics and a little more complexity.
So like heat, do they mean like heat levels or yeah,
I
I
think
guess
he's
that was
saying difficulty levels in general.
yeah, I hope they do. Or because like one, not many people played Psalm. I know the devs got a lot of flack, like, oh, you just put in fire res and season of mastery changes. But like it's a bit more than that. Like they even amped those up. Like when you go from Heat 1 to Heat 2, those Psalm mechanics are like in full force, and sometimes they're even more than what it was in Psalm. And then in Heat 3, it's the same thing. Like it's even harder hitting. There's even harder mobs. More people get bombs. Like there's just a few. Like it's just amping it up, and I really like that. As long as it's not too terrible and there's too much like wiping and suffering, and like I usually use like the casual dad gamer as a good example for where it should be. If they're able to clear it on the lowest level, then that is a good raid. If people can pug it and be able to do it, it's a good thing. Like Onyxia, pugs are struggling to kill Onyxia right now. Like it's hard to
Oh
do
yeah.
because of the coordination it takes.
It
Like
only takes one guy. That's the
people,
problem with Onyxia. It only takes one guy to pull the whelps and everybody dies. Or just to pull aggro
yeah,
and everybody dies.
whelps. Well, in phase three, if a bunch of people died to deep breath in phase two
Yeah.
or just the ads, like your off tank has a DPS limit usually, like unless they're a giga geared tank, like those sunders hurt. Like our off tank in my second raid, like we couldn't kill Onyxia because we were 15 manning it for one, and we had some DPS die, and we just didn't have enough DPS, so he was sitting at 5 sunders, and he just got shredded like paper. And like pugs are really struggling with Oni right now because of those new mechanics. I think they're learning the fireballs that are conflagging you now and hitting people around you, so that's good at least. But there's a lot that Oni got added to, and I think people are really struggling with it.
I remember a time where you could trim an Onyxia if you had an hour of time. So she
Yeah.
definitely needed a buff in difficulty. I mean, we can sit here and argue if it is too hard or too easy or whatever, but I think she definitely, desperately needed a buff. She was way too
Yeah,
easy.
I like the buff, but I think Pugs should be able to kill her as well because it's not like it's a grand raid, right? Like Oni should be like, oh hey guys, let's Pug and Oni, let's go. I have my lockout soon. Let's just go see this and go do it. Like that's Oni to me,
I got a
and like it
counter
should just be
offer.
a quick,
Okay, this is
yeah,
what I did. 25 minutes. That's all it
yeah.
took.
We definitely should have took more people in there for sure. But they said it's designed for 20 people, right? So I feel like 20 pugs from trade chat should be able to go in there and kill it if they have like the good comp or like five healers, two tanks, 13 DPS. Like you should be able to kill Oni with that. I see so many groups fail and mess it up and break down. Like I've
Yeah.
started just raid lead calling the fireballs. Like this person's getting targeted, and like you just need to get away from everyone else because it's targeting you. And I see stint I've had to go to make sure Onis have been super smooth.
And then many whelps go and they go unhandled, and
Yeah,
you can kind of tell why the German guy was so mad the whole time. Like, if you
yeah,
had a failing
yeah,
Onyxia Poe, you can feel that guy in your bones.
yeah. DVM using his
Oh,
lines is so good. I love it. It makes me laugh every time.
it never goes old. It never gets old. And it's like actually relevant to what he's saying, right? Like the whelp goes on and he says many whelps, so it's even better than like a sound effect.
Yeah, yeah. I love it.
Yeah. Well, man, I think it's time to wrap it up. We went a little over the mark. This was pretty good. It's been a pleasure having you, man. So, guys, check
Yeah, of
out
course.
Cagho. Where can we find you? Okay.
YouTube at Kago Gaming, and then I do Twitch. I stream our Solid Savior raids, Heat 2, Heat 3, varying on Tuesdays and Thursdays at 8 p.m. Eastern, and then I post 1, 2, 3, 4 videos on YouTube sometimes a day. Just depends on it, how hard I go. If there's something I feel like needs to get out there, I make a video on it. But usually around noon Eastern every day.
Huge shout out to Cagho. I drop his links in the description. If you're watching a clip or something, I'm also gonna put it on the Spotify episode. Oh, by the way, a little bit of an enroll here. We are now available on Spotify. I am working on uploading the whole backlog to it. It's gonna take a minute here, but yeah, let me show right here. Here's the link in the chat if you want to check it out. A lot of people ask me to put it on Spotify because they like Spotify. I was like, sure, why not? So here we go. And well, if you're listening to this on Spotify, God bless your soul. We're also on YouTube and whatnot. So go subscribe to Cagho Gaming. And this was awesome, man. Thank you for coming so much.
Yeah, thanks for having me. I can talk about WoW for pretty much ever. There's just so much, and it's the game I love and enjoy talking about and making content for. So thanks for having me.
To anybody that will listen, brothers, that's the way it should be. All right, we're gonna
Hell
go
yeah.
offline. Much love, homies.